John Weatherspoon, go ahead, John.
Connor, congratulations on the season. Obviously, it's not ending as you wanted, as you said. You guys had a rough shooting night tonight, but overall, it was a good season. What can you take away from this game and this season into next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think for this game in particular, we really struggled just to kind of get anything going, and I think that's on us for sure. We could have done a better job in some areas. I think it's a huge credit to them that there's a reason they kind of just put teams away pretty quickly and really make it difficult for teams to score. And I think we scored something like 11 points in the first quarter, and we're not the only ones to have really struggled in that category. And so I think we got to tip our hats to those guys in terms of being tough, being physical, being locked into what they're trying to do. And then on the flip side for us, are there things we definitely could have done better? Yes. We created more offense to help us kind of generate some good looks? Yes. But I think that's all stuff that we'll have to kind of revisit and think about as we build our team moving forward.
Looking forward to seeing you guys back at Chase Fieldhouse hopefully next season live.
Thanks, John.
All right.
We'll go to Mark Narducci. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Connor, could you talk about Paul Reed's development, what you saw from him, and what you think of him now being able to go back in the NBA and maybe what he's improved on?
Yeah, I think Paul came to us with incredible natural talent. He could score from a variety of areas. He can shoot threes. He gets to the rim, and he's athletic and long, like kind of all the hallmarks you look for in a prospect. And I think he's improved. I mean, it's only been a kind of 2-month period, but in that, I think we've seen leaps and bounds of growth in the maturity of his game and his decision making and understanding how to play productive team basketball and learning how to find his scoring opportunities in a way that isn't dominating the ball but playing off other people's strengths and defensively really kind of locking in understanding. I think these last 3 games he showed he can sit down and guard a lot of quicker, talented players. So I think he came to us with a lot of talent. I think he's improved in his team abilities, no question, and I'm really excited about his future moving forward and what that means for the Sixers. I think that guys that can shoot, that are athletic, that know how to play are something that's always going to be valuable to the Sixers. And I hope he can keep developing and stay on this trajectory to really kind of become an impact player.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go to Martin Frank. Go ahead, Martin.
Hey, Coach. Along those lines, I also kind of want to ask you about Isaiah Joe. I mean, you had him for the playoff games, and obviously the first 2 games were a lot better than this last game. I mean, just kind of what you thought about his play, while you had him during these 3 playoff games.
For sure. I think, Isaiah played really well. If you look at kind of, I think his 5-game stretch, there's a lot of positives in the terms of how well he can shoot, how he can get open shots. I think these guys, to their credit, really had him on the scouting report and made their number 1 priority, keeping him from getting a lot of open looks, and that's reflected in how we shot. But similar in the sense that a guy that can space the floor, a guy that can guard his position and really keep guys in front defensively and knows what's going on is something that's attractive to every team. And so I think there's room for improvement on both these guys, for Paul and Isaiah. But I think we got to be happy with kind of the path that they're on and what they brought us here. Isaiah for a short period and Paul for much longer.
Go to Mark Eichmann. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the experience of being in Orlando and, not playing in front of anybody versus being at home, and how much of a difference that might make next season, how the field next season might change here in Delaware because of this successful, good run this season?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things we're trying to do is kind of generate some enthusiasm and excitement in the kind of greater Wilmington area. And I think that it's hard to really get a sense of what it's like kind of outside this bubble we're living in, but it felt, at least to us, and like we were gaining some interest kind of throughout the area and throughout the region. I think that's a credit to our team playing well, our team making a run in the playoffs, and I think it's just something we want to continue to build upon. We used to play at the University of Delaware, and now we got our own building, which is a great place to watch a game. The team's kind of improving every year. I think there's a lot of positives and things to be excited about, notwithstanding the outcome tonight.
We will go to Nick Earnshaw. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Coach, congrats on a great season. Obviously not the way you guys wanted it to end. Just, throughout this experience in the bubble, what was the biggest thing you learned about your team this year?
I think that it's a interesting question. I think that we could tell right away that our group had a lot of energy and a lot of personality, and we're guys that weren't afraid to play in the moment and weren't afraid to kind of take a big shot. I think that's all the sort of stuff that's gonna kind of help these guys as they move forward. To be able to create your own energy and be able to play hard every time and be able to locked into the game and be competitive are traits that are very hard to coach, and it's stuff that you show up with the team and you hope that they have. And I think that was one of the reliefs for me, is that from the start, these guys were ready to compete. They're ready to play hard, and they're ready to buy into being a team. And I think that's what led us to some success.
Thanks, Coach.
David Melandra, go ahead, David.
Hey, Coach, what are some of the positives you can take away from this season going into next year? And also, how about the way of Justin Robinson played today?
I mean, I think Justin's been terrific for us. He was kind of our floor general during this entire bubble and including the playoff run. I think that he's got to be high on the radars of all these NBA teams looking for a point guard to come in who can score, who can finish at the rim, who can shoot threes in space and play off the ball. So I'm really optimistic about Justin's future and his ability to stick in the NBA. I think to the whole season, the positives we take away are we crossed off some firsts for our team that we were hoping to accomplish by making the playoffs, having a playoff game, and now getting to the finals. I think that the development of these guys kind of from the top to bottom of the roster is something that we really look at and take a lot of pride in. So I think that the obvious ones are Paul's play, Isaiah's play, Tuck's play, but just all the way down the roster, I think guys really played well and are going to improve their stock moving into next year, improve their careers. And that's something important to our coaching staff.
What is your message to the fan base?
I think that we got to be excited about what we're building. And it's always hard. It's always hard after any game you lose, but I feel like it feels like there's an extra layer for this one, kind of with the journey that we've gone on and how kind of condensed things have been. There's definitely a layer of disappointment, but I think when the dust settles, we got to be happy about what's being built in Wilmington and the team and the program that kind of everyone can get behind.
Time for two more. We'll go to Jaden Campana. Jaden, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So 18 games in 29 days, just about, is pretty crazy. I mean, for obviously the season to end like this, and for things to go how they went, what is one thing that you can really hang your hat on when you go home tonight with the team? Lessons that you guys learned from that, and then really just getting prepared for the off season. It's going to be completely different coming out next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think looking back again, kind of to the idea of it's hard to really kind of see through the trees at this point, just coming off the loss. But at the same end, watching the confetti go and their guys being as excited as they've ever been to win a game. On the flip side, I think we can't lose sight of what we accomplished with the development of our players, with kind of making the playoffs, winning a playoff game, getting to the finals, and those need to be kind of foundational rocks that we continue to build upon. And that'll always be the goal. We're always trying to get better. We're trying to do more for the Sixers, do more for the community, and get an excitement and the fan base. And we just want to keep this thing rolling.
Last one, we'll wrap with the voice. Go ahead, voice.
Congratulations on a great season, Coach. Really, what it comes down to is, although the season kind of ended on a low note, tonight was a very productive night for three of your biggest players. And I got to certainly give Justin a lot of credit because I thought he performed very, very well. But three of your guys who are expected, I believe, to be up at the big club in a matter of weeks, that would be Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed, and Rajon Tucker. How big were they down the stretch, and how excited is this program? Because it just seems this may be now the future stars of tomorrow, the Shake Miltons, the Zaire Smiths, the Jonah Boldens, and now you've got those three who are going up with the Sixers. I mean, this has got to be a pretty progressive, I guess, kind of like moving forward program.
Yeah, I mean, part of our main goal is to develop these guys and to help the Sixers in any way we can. And a lot of that means developing these guys who aren't going to get a lot of minutes up there. And I think you hit on some of our successes thus far, and I'm very optimistic that these three will be able to stick around and really try to help the Sixers moving forward. But I also want to thank you guys for covering our team. It really helps. It means a lot. You guys kind of stuck with us through through everything that we've had, but it means a lot and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach.